Yes, and Jelani Asar here with Income Protection Atlanta. First things first, go to incomeprotectionatlanta.com. Right now, just open up a new tab or a new browser in Firefox or whatever your browser may be. Go to incomeprotectionatlanta.com and join our email list so you can receive your free report entitled Protect My Income in Atlanta, only for you if you desire more financial security in this volatile and chaotic economy. And now let's get to our interview with another mesmerizing Atlanta business owner.
Health savings accounts, which
Health savings
came out of
accounts.
the Bush administration,
Yes, sir.
and they're really, they're a tremendous benefit for the healthy and for the wealthy. And if you're in those two buckets, these are, there are significant, savings. You can put up to $5,000 or a little bit more than that now, but a little bit more than $5,000 a year pre-tax. It grows tax-free, and at age 65, you can use it for any purpose. It doesn't have to be for healthcare expenses. You can pay your COBRA premiums from these accounts. They're just a tremendous. It's like adding $5,000 to your 401k. Again, for the healthy or the wealthy. If you're, a young family and have, lots of little kids or, a chronic condition, these aren't the plans for you by and large. But again, if you're making a good income and you're very healthy, they're certainly worth considering. And again, the employers are spending a significant amount of time educating their employees, and to have that other viable resource such as a CPA to say, hey, you should really consider these plans and here's why, really helps the employer.
Right, and then I imagine that when these words are coming from the CPA, the authority, that they have much more weight, much more sway and influence.
Exactly. It's kind of the adage where if your wife can tell you to quit smoking, but if your physician does it, you're more apt to do it. So
right.
We've kind of piggybacked on that to say, maybe a CPA telling you should really, put $300 or $400 in your FSA account, that not to fear that use it or lose it provision, because you have 3 kids and those medical bills alone will more than cover that. So. Right.
And then people who were once using, for example, the H&R Block, the Jackson Hewitts, or having really no relationship with a CPA at all, what is it like for them to now have access to a network of CPAs?
Well, I can tell you that next year, Jelani, because this is the first year of Capella. We started in April.
Right.
So we're really about to embark on our first tax season. So, but one of the things, as I mentioned, that I'm doing is having a small network. I'm really only looking, if you think of it by county, I'm looking for 2 or 3 CPAs per county.
Per county.
Yeah, and I'm looking to drive 200 customers, 200 members to each CPA.
Huh.
That's $50,000, if I do that to the CPA, which is, a meaningful chunk of change that I'm confident the CPAs are going to treat my members, exceptionally well to protect that revenue stream. Secondly, every member is going to get a satisfaction survey every year, and CPAs not scoring well, will be removed from the network. So I think I've built the checks and balances, around ensuring excellent customer service and to be that trusted advisor, again, for the segment of the population not used to having access, to this high quality.
Advice.
That's right.
So how do you go about choosing those who get into your network?
Well, I credential the network, and those components include a site visit, looking for CPAs that work in commercial office space, not out of their home. Not that there's anything wrong with a home office, but when I'm marketing this to employers, I want them to be very comfortable where they're sending their employees.
Right.
I do an online background check to ensure, that the CPA is not on America's Most Wanted every week. And
right.
Coming back to make sure that the employer is comfortable where they're sending their employees. I verify that their license is in good standing in the state in which they practice, and that they have at least $500,000 of professional liability insurance.
I see. And then I remember the first time we spoke, you were saying that you just had your phone ringing off the hook from people accountants trying to join your network.
Well, one of my investors happens to be a public relations firm, Nevins and Associates here in Baltimore, and
right.
Very, very talented agency, and they put the press release on Accounting Today, which is a nationwide email blast to CPAs and accountants across the country. Well, Jelani, I must have had 200 phone calls and 300 emails from CPAs wanting to join my network.
Wow.
So it was because there's no cost to the CPA to join my network, and that's the great part for them. Again, if there's enough volume,
yes.
what they're being paid is adequate compensation.
Right.
So I've saved every email, and I've written down and returned every phone call, and have a database. So as we expand our network across the country, I've got some CPAs to begin credentialing.
Right. And then how do you go about expanding? I mean, do you have a plan or a system that you're following that basically determines how you're going to be expanding?
Yes, actually we are, and really in the throes of proving our concept with this open enrollment season, with employers.
Right.
The last piece of the puzzle to prove to our investors that our concept is valid is what the acceptance rate is going to be with employees. So we're looking at 10% on average, and we're hitting that fairly consistently. Depending on the employer's methodology of open enrollment. Employers that just mail out packages and say, "Here, enroll if you want it," we're getting probably 5%.
Yeah, that's very understandable.
Yeah, which is typical, and your audience will understand that. But and again, they'll understand this too. In settings where the employer brings their employees in for meetings, and we're able to make a brief presentation, we're getting our 20%.
Exactly.
But if we prove our concept, we will go back out to the venture world for a significant slug of capital, as they say, and have our go big, go fast strategy. But we've got our business plan written for that, and we'll be able in the early spring to begin speaking with some larger venture capital firms about that opportunity. But we want to have that.
And wonderful. And join us for our next part of another fantastic interview with our great guest, with another amazing Atlanta business owner. In the next video.